is up? My name is Maisie with Barbecue by Maisie. If you are new here, thank you for stopping by. And if you are coming back, I sure do appreciate you. First of all, I must apologize. My microphone is not compatible with my new phone. I will be getting that fixed ASAP. So just know that all the future videos will not sound this crappy. And I will do my best to edit it louder. All right, I have been gone for a little bit. I'm excited to jump back in full force on YouTube. Today, we are making smoked pulled beef. I have been craving this and I am so excited to get it on the smoker. Chuck roast is such a fun meat to cook with. You can do so many things with it, and it is similar to brisket. So if you don't want to spend all that cash on brisket right now, chuck roast is a good alternative. But today we're just going to make a simple chuck roast, and we're going to cook it so nice and tender. We're just going to pull it, and I think we're going to make some sandwiches with it later. I'm so excited. I'm going to get it started here pretty early this morning. It's going to smoke all day. It's going to smell so good. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm excited to be back. Let's get started prepping this meat. Real quick, chuck roast is a super versatile meat. You can do a lot of different things with it, and it's going to be a very similar cooking process. If you wanted to do tacos, burritos, what else? I don't know. There's so much stuff you could do with pulled beef. You would just season it differently according to what you're wanting to make. But today, of course, we're just going to do a traditional pulled beef. I have my 2.5 pound chuck roast in front of me. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but for my family, it's the perfect size. Prepping your chuck roast is really pretty easy for this cook. All I'm using is this freaking W sauce, Worcestershire. It's for a little bit of a binder. And then I'm using the Pit Boss smoked salt and pepper rub. It's one of my favorites. So just a very basic seasoning process. So let's get started. Come on. It's freezing out here. My hands are numb. All right, so it's just gonna take a little bit of this. I'm just giving something for the rub to stick to, so it really doesn't take a lot. I'm going to season it pretty generously. Pat your rub in. Give it a good pat. We're gonna do the other side. Pat it in. I've got my smoker heating up behind me. All right. That looks fantastic. Okay, today I am using my Pit Boss Navigator. I just have a competition blend pellet in there. It's just, to me, it's just a good pellet for pretty much everything. You could really experiment with your pellets with beef though. That's just what I'm using today. Smoker is set at 250 degrees for this first, it's about 3 hours. We're just gonna take our chuck roast and we're gonna put it right on the grates. No look. That's how easy it is, folks. Okay, so now that our chuck roast is on the smoker, we're going to let it smoke for about 2.5 to 3 hours until the internal temperature is about 165. That's when you're going to find that you'll hit the stall. At that point, we'll move on to our next steps. I will be spritzing it with beef broth about every 30 minutes to an hour, just kind of when the outside of the meat looks like it's getting dry, because that, my friends, is gonna build a nice bark. Okay, so there's nothing left to do now. I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna eat a little breakfast. I'm gonna crack a cold Diet Coke and just come back and check on this meat for a little squirt of that beef broth. It's been about 1 hour and you can kind of see how that meat is starting to dry out. So now is a good time to spritz it with our beef broth. Got my beef broth here and I'm just going to spritz it on the top surface. Okay, we'll come back and check on it in about another hour. Okay, it's been about 3 hours, so I'm going to check the temperature. And we're in the 150s, so we're getting pretty close to that stall. So I'm going to go ahead and get my broth and onion mixture ready and get it moved into a foil pan. But I am just going to give it a quick spritz first. Okay, so all I've done here is cut up one yellow onion and about 1.5 cans of beef broth. And now we're going to get the roast and just put it right on top. Okay, so there is our roast right on top of the broth and onions. Now I'm just going to cover it with foil and put it back in the smoker. So now that the roast is wrapped and back in the smoker, you're really not going to do anything else the rest of the cook other than wait for it to be a nice, perfect tenderness. I'm expecting about another 4 to 5 hours. I'll check on it a little bit later and just see how we're coming along. My smoker goes from 250 to 300 degrees, so I'm not going to bump the temperature all the way up to 300. But if you want to, you can increase the temperature by about 10 to 30 degrees, even to 50, depending on if you're in a hurry or not. That's just going to speed the cooking process up a little bit. If it is cold outside, then you could throw it in the crock pot at this point just to finish off the cooking on low, just to kind of save on pellets and fuel if you'd like. But you're looking for a finished temperature around 200 to 205. Don't get hung up on the temperature though. You want to go by feel of the meat to make sure it's nice and super tender. Okay, so I am just going to head inside. I'll check on it in a little bit and we'll see where we're at. Alright, so I'm out checking on the pot roast, and the internal temperature is actually pretty good, but that's why I say don't go off the temperature, because I think it could get a little more tender. There's still a little resistance, and I'm in no hurry. So I'm just going to keep cooking it longer, and it's just going to get more and more tender. Right, we're back out of the smoker. Now I'm just probing for tenderness, and it is going in like butter. Hardly any resistance there. Feels real nice, so I'm going to pull off the roast and just let it sit and rest for about 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, make sure you do not rush through the resting process. It's really important, and your meat is going to be so juicy and so tender. So I let mine rest for about 30 minutes. I'm going to pull it out of the broth mixture, and I'm going to shred it up real nice. I'm going to save my broth. I'm going to use it to dip my sandwiches in. I am just getting excited thinking about it. So let's hurry up and get this meat shredded so I can go inside and eat. Shred it with my hands. Right, I'm going to have to give this a taste. I can hardly take it. Well, let me get a nice little piece here. Oh man, the seasoning's on it so good. Oh. That might be some of my best beef. So good, so easy. I'm going to make some sandwiches, some sliders with this, with a little provolone cheese. I'm gonna dip it in that broth and have a little au jus. It's gonna be such a good meal. It was so easy. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate the support. And until next time, ta-ta for now.
I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me pressing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon.